than when they're straight. So don't go by. So if you're doing 40 pounds on this guy, you go, wow, I'll pick up 220s. Ah! You know, no, it's not the same. So be careful about that.
Other than a standard balanced diet, does any of this training change your nutritional needs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to get to too, is talk about nutrition as well. Yeah, nutritional needs change considerably. Nutrition, I'm not going to talk about weight loss, okay, because that's a whole other animal. I'm just going to talk about nutrition for fighters and sustaining this kind of level, increased level of activity. Obviously, your calories are going to go up. They are not going to go up. They're not going up 2 cheeseburgers a day up. Pizza, beer. Yeah. So what would you then? Yeah. So you know this? Italy did a study. They took marathon runners. I swear to God, they took marathon runners and they had them run a marathon, so the full 26 miles. And they did 2 groups. They did a group A that rehydrated along the way with water, and they did group B that rehydrated with beer. And after 2 hours, the beer drinkers rehydrated faster than the water drinkers. After 2 hours.
But they feed more, right?
I don't know. If I got to run full out for 2 hours to have a beer, I don't know.
Beer for 2 hours.
How bad do you want that beer?
Did you see that Nova special on
No. Yeah. So one thing that goes up is your protein need. Endurance athletes need more protein than weightlifters. It's a common misconception that weightlifters need more protein. They don't. Endurance athletes are going to tax larger groups. Don't think of muscles as individuals. It's a system. It's the musculoskeletal system. A weightlifter taxes one part of that system. Endurance trainers tax the entire system. When you fight, you tax the whole system. When you do endurance training, and particularly when you begin doing interval training, you are really taxing the whole system. Increase your protein. There's different ways of measuring your protein. The only thing, I mean, you can get online and find out the different rates. There's a formula for determining how much, all that. That's not that big a deal. I don't need to worry about that so much. What? Yeah. I had a friend who did that, trained powerlifters, and they had to do that every year. I was like, no thanks. I'm not doing that. Core sample your muscle. Yeah, not nice.
Like biopsy punch?
Yeah.
Biopsy muscle.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks like an 8-gauge needle. It's like a big steel tube. Just suck it out.
How?
Well, you just roast the soul out.
Yeah. When you're looking at protein needs, people tend to still kind of go overboard on protein. First thing to remember is your body will not process more than 25 grams of protein per meal. So guys are doing that 40 grams, I'm drinking 40-gram power shake. It's like, great, that's 20 grams of fat you just made. 25 grams of protein is about the max the body will process, no matter what your protein needs are for the day. So after you're done lifting, after you're done activity, after your post-workout meal should include 25 grams of a low-fat protein. Low-fat because, obviously, fat's going to make that protein harder to digest. Fat's hard to digest. It's going to slow down that protein getting into your system. You want to get protein into that right away. You have an hour. They call it the window of time. It starts to shut as soon as you stop. You've got an hour to get protein into your system.
Does the type of fat matter as far as...
Saturated fat.
Okay.
Saturated fat. Yeah. Yeah,
So
saturated.
no bacon.
No bacon. Bacon does not count. Bacon and cheeseburgers don't count. So what's the best?
What form of protein is most...
The number one form of protein, actually, the body actually metabolizes the quickest is whey protein. Whey protein is one of the best. Cottage cheese is one of the best. Cottage cheese is a good one because it also is a natural source of glucosamine. Glucosamine helps the body from going catabolic. In other words, helps your body using healthy tissue to rebuild injured tissue, which is something you want to avoid when you're weightlifting. Red meat is actually still one of the top proteins. Egg whites, and then poultry and fish.
So red meat is okay?
Red meat is okay.
Good.
Just that 10 pounds at a time.
Yeah, just not 10 pounds at a time. Yeah.
What eggs?
Yeah. Eggs are good. Not bacon. Eggs are great. Eggs are great, even with the yolks. By the way, there's never been a conclusive study that linked cholesterol in an egg yolk to human blood
Yes.
cholesterol.
Amen to that.
No correlation there.
Thank you. So, let's say you have like eggs and bacon. Bacon, part of the egg protein to be absorbed, or other sense?
No, if you eat the bacon with the egg, you slow down the egg.
Okay.
No bacon. Cut the bacon out.
After exercise.
After exercise.
You guys want to have me at breakfast tomorrow?
Yeah, preload with bacon. Yeah, you want to have a pre-workout and a post-workout meal.
You said 25 grams at any meal. How often can you take in 25 grams in a day?
2 hours. Every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours.
That's 25 grams an ounce.
No, exactly. It works out to about a serving. It's maybe about the size of your hand.
So, couple of eggs.
It depends on what obviously. If it's a steak, it's going to be 4 ounces. Yeah, it's not a lot.
So to repeat the thing, 25 grams of protein per meal. So you can't metabolize more than 25 per meal.
Well, every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours.
So like a chicken breast or thigh or
Yep.
something?
Yep, just one. And in 2 hours after that, have another one. Have more. That's fine. Your body will have the demand for that in another 2 hours.
Until how late? I mean, like right up until the time you go to sleep?
Sure.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, the whole idea about not eating before you sleep, and it accounts to weight loss. You know those ads where they go, burn weight in your sleep? Yeah, we do that now. Everybody does that now. Your body uses its fat reserves when you sleep. If you go to bed with a full stomach, it's just going to use that first. And so you're not going to see the weight loss you maybe want. You're going to give yourself a little weight loss boost. But again, we're not talking about weight loss here. I'm not talking about that thing. We're just talking about nutritional needs. But yeah, your post-workout meal, 25 grams of protein.
Don't forget the water. You're going to increase
Oh yeah,
protein. You're going to increase water.
you've got to increase water. Yeah, because just like I mentioned earlier, protein, when the body uses that, metabolizes that, it's going to break off that nitrogen, and you're going to urinate more. So yeah, but all of this training is going to require more water. Athletes need more water, not less. You're going to need more water, not less water. You're going to consume a lot more water. I go through a gallon and a half a day on heavy days, sometimes 2. And I've not yet. Somebody in the SCA posted a list about water intoxication. And I was like, oh, you gotta be. That's the last thing we need to worry about in the SCA is water intoxication. Yeah.
That's, yeah, that's
Total intoxicated. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you have any thoughts on water versus Gatorade?
Gatorade was designed for people for extreme athletes who were burning through their glucose and glycogen reserves, like I talked about, and needed it replenished immediately. So it had that sugar in it. We're not doing, even fighting the SCA, we're not doing anything close to that. Gatorade, I mean, you're just getting extra calories.
Water's better.
Water is better.
Speaking of calories, do you think, I mean, is there any real concern with total caloric intake on a daily basis other than weight gain? I mean,
There are some connections to disease risks. Yeah, to cancers, obviously heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and things like that. Yeah, they're starting to see correlations to that. I haven't seen a real definitive study that's come out yet, but we're starting to see that. So sometime in the next 2 years or so, you're going to hear about a study that's going to come out that's really going to link that to disease risks, increased caloric intake during the day.
Isn't there a reverse caloric intake for longevity?
Yeah,
Eating less?
yeah. There are studies that show that you eat less calories to live longer.
2 questions. So you mentioned about a pre-workout.
Yeah.
And anything else besides protein?
When you're looking at, so your post and pre-workout, your post-workout should have protein in it. Your pre-workout doesn't necessarily have to have protein. I wouldn't add protein to your pre-workout meal. Again, because protein is a little difficult to digest. It's hard on the liver. It really is. So don't force that too much in the pre-workout meal. Carbohydrates, though, are the interesting thing. Your pre-workout meal should have a carbohydrate. Your post-workout meal should have a carbohydrate. You've burned up. You're going to burn glycogen. You're going to burn glucose, and you need to replenish glucose after. It should be a simple carbohydrate, not a complex carbohydrate. Don't eat that, wheat bran muffin or
Is this
whatever.
both pre and post?
Yep. Simple carbohydrate in both. You want to get that glucose into your blood quick.
So you're talking like rice?
Fruit.
Fruit is the best.
Fruit is the
Yeah,
best? Okay.
fruit is the best, but white